So I don't know about you, but 2024 here has been pretty crazy. Got family stuff and work has been getting busy, and that car. We'll see if it survives another couple years. But hey, I got time before work to answer 3 questions about Hawaii, so let's go. So first question, for people born and raised here that moved to the mainland, where did you move and why? So just for a quick recap for those who don't know, I went to Colorado for college for 4 years, and then I went to Oregon for a year. Tough times during that 1 year. And then I went back to Colorado to finish up my master's, and I taught at the university there, worked there, and then I spent a summer in California, and then eventually came back home to Hawaii. So that was the where, but I think it's more important to talk about the why. Pretty much growing up, like especially high school time, I pretty much knew I was going to the mainland for college. Not that, you know, University of Hawaii is not great, it's just that both of my parents went to Oregon for school. They had talked about how great it was, and I think in a lot of ways I was kind of guided, not forced, but I was guided to go away to school for the mainland. I primarily went away because I wanted to experience new things. But more importantly, I think I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to see what I was really made of. Because I'll admit, I can admit, you know, in high school and even in college and grad school, I never really pushed myself to see how far I could go. You know, like I cruised through high school, I cruised through undergrad, and to some extent grad school, although that was harder. And so I never really pushed myself academically, and I do wish that I had, but I really want to push myself socially. And not socially like going out and doing all these things, but I wanted to put myself into social situations that would make me uncomfortable. And not awkward uncomfortable, but more like curious uncomfortable or challenging uncomfortable, just to see how I could do. And I'll admit that I wasn't sure I'd ever come back to Hawaii. My dad always said, you know, go mainland, do it for some time, and if you like come back, you can always come back home. But if you like it up there, it's fine, you can go and stay. There was a point where I really did think I was gonna stay up there forever. But there came a time when I guess after working up there for a while, I just realized that I had accomplished everything that I wanted to do, and I wanted to spend time with my parents and my brother, my family, and come back home. I had done all the things that I set out to do. I challenged myself, I lived by myself, take care of myself. I experienced a lot of wonderful things. I grew up a lot, I matured a lot on the mainland. I'm glad that I spent a lot of time on the mainland, but I'm really glad that I've come back home, and now I got a family, and we got all those toys. All right, next question. So what does it mean to live with Aloha? Now I have a lot to say on this, but I'm gonna try to keep this brief. So notwithstanding the legal definition of Aloha that's codified in section 5-7.5 in the Hawaii Revised Statutes, I believe that Aloha is living with generosity and kindness and forgiveness and grace, as the light battles me here. And it's so interesting because those things, they seem to be lacking a lot in today's world, but yet it's something that we in Hawaii pride ourselves with. The best is when you experience that through random interactions with strangers. You experience that kindness, that generosity. It's talking story with someone, just saying hi, giving a shaka. It's someone letting you go before them in line. And it's especially when someone slights you and you just say, you know what, don't worry about it. Now I mentioned that I think Aloha should be unconditional, because when it's conditional, it relies more so on circumstances and not on character. And of course, please don't get the impression that I've mastered all of these traits, that I'm somehow an ambassador of Aloha all the time. It's something that I continuously work on. For example, the other day, I was driving on the freeway and it was raining, and out of nowhere, this guy starts crossing the freeway. Like, this is not a highway now, this is a full-on H1 freeway. And the guy's just walking across the freeway and people are slamming their brakes. I gotta slam my brakes, you know? And I'm like thinking, bruh, what you doing? I get my kids in the car. What? And in that moment, oh my gosh, you know, I'm like, yeah, not a lot of grace, not a lot of kindness, just pure reaction. And so I had to catch myself. I had to say, you know what? Hey, obviously something's going on with this guy. And as I was driving away, you know, instead of thinking, bruh, I hope one car bang you, you know? Instead of thinking that, I had to just collect myself and say, you know what? I hope the guy's okay. I hope he makes it across the freeway, and you know, he got to go both sides now. So you're talking like 10 lanes or whatever. He's crossing the freeway. I'm like, I just hope he gets there safe, that we don't hear anything on the news, and I just gotta let it go and wish him the best. Now trust me, even for me, that was not easy. But no one said Aloha was easy. Now I know the trend these days is to point out how Aloha is dying, or it's less Aloha than before, and maybe that's true. But even if less people are demonstrating Aloha, for whatever that reason is, doesn't mean that you still can't. And in fact, I think that's probably a better test for how much Aloha is in you. It's when other people aren't doing it, because it's real easy, right? If everybody's doing, you know, sharing Aloha, everyone being nice, right? It's real easy to do that. And if you don't do that, you kind of stand out, because now, you know, you're the jerk, right? But if you show Aloha, even when other people aren't, even when people are bumping into you and cutting you off and all that, if you show that, people are gonna see that, and they're not gonna walk all over you. At least not everyone will. They're gonna recognize that, and you're gonna stand out so much in the crowd of busyness. So I just encourage you, if you feel like Aloha is gone and you're the only one that's showing it, you know, keep it up, because people will notice. I know I do. All right, final question, because I gotta go work. Mainland or continent, what term do you use? So in all my years of living here in Hawaii, I've never heard anyone use the term continent or continental US, unless it was very intentional in a very formal setting. And even then, when they use that term, continent or continental US, I know it takes a lot of effort for them to change it, because it's not what we use here. I know some people may be offended, or maybe that's not the politically correct term for reference to the United States, the rest of the United States. But for me, I have no problem with it. Using that term to me doesn't make Hawaii any smaller. It's just a reference point for this is Hawaii, and the rest of the United States we just call the mainland. But I do recognize that language is important, and we have to be careful about the terms and the words that we use. But I think using the term mainland demonstrates something about perspective, right? It demonstrates where we position ourselves in the narrative of this world compared to others. And how we see ourselves in Hawaii as a state, as a culture, as a people, I think is very important, where we place ourselves on the map. And at the same time, we also need to remember that the mainland isn't just this blanket term for everything, that what we call a mainland is made up of states, it's made up of counties and cities, different peoples, ethnicities, and that we can't just label everything mainland as the same, just like we don't want to all be considered the same either. I love being from Hawaii, but you walk down the street, we all don't look the same, we don't all think the same, we don't act the same. Oh. All right, well, my wife came back. I gotta get going. Hey! So, time to go to work. Thanks for watching, and aloha.
Oh, I never watched the film during lunchtime.
I was, but
Might as well.
yeah, might as well now.